When Adrian Blackwood returned to his mansion earlier than expected that afternoon, the rain still clinging to his tailored coat and the weight of a brutal boardroom battle heavy on his shoulders, he had no idea that what awaited him inside would shatter the carefully controlled world he had built since the accident that took his wife and his daughter's sight in the same cruel night, because as one of the wealthiest men in the city, Adrian was used to seeing people obey, perform, and pretend. But he was not prepared to witness something raw, human, and painfully sincere unfolding in his own living room, where his blind 6-year-old daughter Lily stood trembling near the center of the room, her small hands clenched tightly around the fabric of her nanny's dress while raised voices cut through the air like knives, and as Adrian froze just inside the doorway, staying out of sight, he saw Margaret, his late wife's sister and the woman who had never hidden her resentment toward Lily's condition, standing rigid with fury, pointing an accusing finger at Sophia, the young nanny Adrian had hired only 3 months earlier, a girl from a modest background with no powerful references, just a quiet voice and gentle eyes, and Margaret's words were sharp and unforgiving as she accused Sophia of coddling Lily, of making her weak, of teaching her fear instead of strength, while Lily flinched at every word, her sightless eyes hidden behind dark glasses, and in that moment Sophia did something that stopped Adrian's breath entirely, because instead of shrinking back or apologizing like every other employee before her, Sophia stepped forward, placing her own body between Margaret and the child, lowering herself to Lily's level, wrapping one arm around her protectively while her other hand gently covered Lily's ears, and with a steady but trembling voice, Sophia said that Lily was not broken, not a burden, not something to be hardened by cruelty, but a child who had already lost more than most adults could survive, and she would not allow anyone, family or not, to frighten her again. And as Margaret scoffed and raised her voice even more, Sophia's resolve only strengthened, her posture unyielding, her eyes blazing with a courage Adrian had never seen in anyone within these walls, and Lily, sensing the calm in Sophia's voice, leaned into her, whispering that she was scared, that the shouting made her feel lost, and Sophia whispered back words of comfort, describing the room, the warmth of the rug beneath their feet, the sound of rain outside, grounding Lily in a world she could no longer see but could still feel, and that was when Adrian felt something crack inside him, because in all his wealth, all his therapists, all his private tutors and expensive accommodations, he realized he had failed to give his daughter the one thing Sophia was giving her freely, unconditional safety, and when Adrian finally stepped forward, his presence commanding instant silence. Margaret turned pale, ready to justify herself as she always did, but Adrian raised a hand, his eyes never leaving Sophia and Lily, and in a voice low with emotion, he asked Lily who she felt safest with, and without hesitation, Lily reached for Sophia's hand and said her name, and that single word hit Adrian harder than any business loss ever had, because it exposed the truth he had been avoiding, that his grief had made him distant, cold, and absent, and while he had been building an empire to escape pain, Sophia had been building trust with his daughter one gentle moment at a time, and when Margaret tried to protest, Adrian shut her down firmly, telling her that until she learned compassion, she was no longer welcome to discipline or even correct Lily, and for the first time, Margaret had no defense, because the evidence stood right in front of them in the form of a calm child holding tightly to a nanny who refused to let go, and later that evening, after Margaret had left in fury, Adrian sat quietly in the dim living room while Sophia prepared Lily for bed, listening as Sophia read softly, describing pictures Lily could not see, turning pages slowly so Lily could trace them with her fingers, and Adrian realized that Sophia had not just been protecting Lily from harsh words, but from a lifetime of emotional damage, teaching her confidence, independence, and trust in a world that had already taken so much from her, and when Lily finally fell asleep, Adrian thanked Sophia, his voice breaking as he admitted he hadn't known how to be a father anymore, and Sophia, with humility and kindness, told him that Lily didn't need a perfect father, just a present one, and in that moment, Adrian understood that sometimes miracles don't come in the form of money, medicine, or power, but in the quiet bravery of someone who chooses love over fear every single day, and as days passed, Adrian changed, canceling meetings to walk with Lily, listening as Sophia taught him how to guide her safely, how to speak without pity, how to let Lily try and fail and try again, and slowly, the mansion that once echoed with silence began to feel like a home again, and Adrian knew that catching Sophia protecting his blind daughter hadn't just opened his eyes, it had saved his family, and if this story moved you, touched your heart, or reminded you of the power of kindness, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because more emotional, inspiring stories like this are coming, and your support helps us keep sharing stories that matter.